When I said it was mission impossible, the guys were not trained, they don't understand the benefit of collecting data when they go out on patrol, they had no uniforms. We realized immediately that there's a need for an international standard training.
Wanda ba mu da ilimi ya za mu yi mukama mutum mun gan shi kawai gudu muke yi mu mukama. Amma yanzu mun samu ilimin da akwai dabaru da muke bi muke amfani da shi wajen bi domin mu kama mai laifi a ganda.
We learned so much about marksmanship and weapon handling and how to carry out a patrol and how to engage an enemy.
Wannan horo ya canza mana irin yadda da muke domin yadda da muke da muna tafiya riganmu daban wandonmu daban yana samun mu ƙara jin ƙarfi sosai a wajenmu a jikinmu.
Happy day to you. With every science of the word and purpose. This is Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Greeting you today, this Monday, 25th of the month of November, year 2024. Happy New Week, happy day, happy Monday. Last time we were on this program, Church going, we'll be back. And we are here. Thank God for His mercy. Femi Ojo is my name, and I'm very much excited. In fact, we are excited. It's a wonderful week for us as well. Celebration from last week, overlapping to this week. Yeah, at Western Spring Television, also our sister station, Radio 1M, is invested away. But that doesn't do what we do here, informing, educating, bringing you conversations that has to do with the development of this great nation, reading from the papers and for us. Having those conversations. Evelyn is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Femi. How are you doing today?
Happy Monday to you. Very well.
Happy Monday.
Happy New Week. Yeah.
Welcome, people. It's Christmas in November, 25th of November. It is 2024. We are grateful to God for life. And it's just 1 month to the highly anticipated Christmas, by the way. I love Christmas. Who doesn't love Christmas?
Wow.
So we count down to that very day where we'll celebrate the birth of our Lord Jesus, and we get to exchange gifts, exchange love, and there is joy in the air like never before. My name is Evelyn Ohiola, welcoming you especially to this beautiful edition of Morning Spring. Like Femi said earlier, it's anniversary week and it's celebration from right here.
Exactly. And of course, the people are in because that's the first point of call today. You don't want to miss any part of this program. Either you're watching us on channel 190 on StarTimes DTT, or you're watching, online on our YouTube channel at the Western Spring TV, or our various social media handles on Instagram, X, and even on Facebook. We say welcome. Good morning. All right, we'll start from the Nigerian Tribune for this morning. The Nigerian Tribune. PDP chair, fresh plot to retain Damagum beyond 2025 unfolds. Okay, that one man, that his name has been resounding over and over, especially in the political space, talking about the main opposition party, the PDP. The Nigerian Tribune has that. Moving on, $17.1 billion IDA loans, project abandonment, Naira depreciation paints black future for dollar loans. And we paid 1 billion Naira ransom to bandits, Southern Kaduna community cries out. Did I say that right? 1 billion Naira ransom to bandits, Southern Kaduna community cries out. And you know what happens to the pockets of the people that has come out with all the trauma, with uncertainty, just because there is a security lapse, just because some persons are hell-bent on, inflicting terror, pains on people for their own gains, for whatever ideology they are preaching, which is absolutely, basically criminality. And just because the state is failing, actually, 1 billion naira, that's a lot of money. And the University of Oxford invited Jimoh Ibrahim, Australian PM, to talk on mega project. If you know Jimoh Ibrahim, is such a person, mega talker, and of course, he likes to say things, and in that particular guise. Moving on, Nigeria, Brazil signed MOU to boost agribusiness in 774 local government areas. Simply saying in the nation. But by the way, putting in the right context, in all the local governments, 774, Nigeria and Brazil signed MOU, that's Memorandum of Understanding, to boost agribusiness in 774 local government areas. And here, Southwest speakers, other principal officers to push full legislative autonomy. The Southwest speakers. And with riders plan to meet governors forum and to update fund management laws of Southwest Parliament. And away from that, Tinubu Buhari did not prepare for governance. Tinubu Buhari did not prepare for governance. And, Omokri to critics. Economy rebounding under Tinubu's reforms. Many persons will say, without Reno Omokri, if actually you believe in the testimony you are sharing, maybe you should relocate and come back here, to really show that, yes, things are working and he's rebounding. You can stay in London, but then he's a Nigerian and he has to speak their mind. Now, Clark to Kekereekun. Buhari's removal of Onoye, a dent on Nigeria's democratic record. Clark to Kekereekun, that's the CGN, that's from Edwin Clark to CGN, Kekereekun. Buhari's removal of Onoye, a dent on Nigeria's democratic record. You know what happened a few weeks ago when former CGN Walter Onoye, had a case against him, quashed, and saying his removal by the government through the CCT at that time for different allegations, were unfounded. And by the way, the guy who did the Ajay job, the Danladi Umar, was officially shown the way home last week by the Nigerian Senate as well. Maybe what comes around goes around. Now, Nasima OPS caution on impact of arbitrary taxation on business economy. But before we move completely away from this Kekereekun, the CGN being told by the Edwin Clark that Buhari's removal of Onoye is a danger on Nigeria's democratic record, but he speaks to the independence, of what we usually talk about, the arms of government, judiciary, executive, and if actually the head of a judiciary could be, removed in such a manner, in a Gestapo manner. That's the highest judicial officer in the land. Of course, he is not above the law, just like any other person. But the way and manner and everything was quite. In fact, the only thing you are hearing is from maybe some lawyers, from CSOs, NGOs, Nigerians, especially those that are not in tune with the government of the day at the time. If such a person will be removed without following the due process. So what speaks to the system everybody is clamoring that we should have? Even.
Yeah, that's true, Femi. And, Chief Justice Kekereekun has always said that she's in there to restructure the judiciary and also ensure that that independence is returned to the judicial sector, although people have faulted our claims because they believe that she also, at one point or the other in our career, had made some, wrong choices or made some wrong judgment. Remember that Imo judgment in which she was key, to delivering. But it doesn't take away the fact that whether we have done badly in the past, we can still that is why we have the present for us to change things so that the future can
Correct
be
the
better.
past,
So we can learn from the past, but not dwell in the past,
yeah.
and just
I
work on
understand.
the present so that we can have a better future.
Exactly.
I hope that the judiciary can actually move away
Yeah.
from being an appendage of the executive
Yeah.
and be
Or
independent.
appearing to be. Yeah.
Exactly, and be independent. Yes, people might have their arguments that the removal of Onoyan by Buhari was really undemocratic, but that's in the past now. What we seek to do is to ensure that something like that doesn't repeat itself,
Yeah.
and whether or not Justice Onoyan will find closure. Some people have also have said that he should be able to find closure because the way and manner it was removed, it was just removed like an ordinary person.
Yeah.
And so,
Like a script that was played out.
exactly.
With speed.
Exactly. So some people have asked him to sue the Buhari's administration. I don't know how that would pan out,
Yeah.
but of course, I am for let us just work on what we have now so that we do not have a repeat of that in the future.
Exactly. Let the judiciary put its foot on the ground and show, that they are really the hope, especially the courts, the hope of the common man, the last hope of the common man. Here, listen to this. FCTA releases list of C of O debtors in Abuja. Even if you have properties in Abuja, make sure you're not OE, because
Yeah.
you know the man in charge of the Abuja. C of O if you are OE.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, Dangote Refinery reduces petrol price from 990 naira to 970 naira for marketers. All right, whatever that means, that'll be all from the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, from the Nigerian Tribune this morning, we head on to the Punch newspaper. Raps may clash over Tinubu's $2.2 billion fresh loan on Tuesday. With double riders, loan is an extra burden on government. Nigerians Minority Caucus warns, we will approve loan and ensure it is not diverted. This is according to the deputy spokesman. Remember that the Senate has already actually approved this, so it's just left for the House of Representatives to do same. So are they going to follow the footstep of the senators, or there's going to be a difference with what they are going to do? By the way, the loan is actually to execute some capital projects in this 2024 budget. So it's just for the execute, and if the budget has been approved, definitely you know that the projects or the budget will have to be funded in one way or the other, majorly with loans, and it was put there during the budget. So if you did not raise eyebrows during when the budget was presented, I wonder what the House of Representatives wants to do with clashing right now. It's true, it's not for the 2025 budget, it's for the 2024 budget,
Right.
which is coming to a close very soon,
Pretty
this
soon, yeah.
December. Away from that, PDP governors, 24 states chairman plotting to keep Damagum. This is coming from Raps. And police hurt Ogun woman for dumping, I take that back. Police hunt Ogun woman for dumping child outside clinic. This for, there are people that are looking up to God for the fruit of the womb, and you see
For years.
people that just have these children, and they believe that because they cannot take care of them, the next thing is to just dump them somewhere. It's either of two things, either for them to be hurt or die, or for someone else to pick them up, because you never can tell what happens to these children. You may say that they are going to be picked up by someone else, and they eventually get
Whatever it
hurt
is unfair
or
on the
die.
child.
It's unfair on the child. If you cannot nurture a child, if you cannot face or chest the
Yeah, you should be
responsibility
careful.
of grooming and nurturing a child, then you know what they say, zip up,
Yeah.
or you use protection.
Button up.
That's just
Whatever
it.
that means, yeah.
Because this is not actually good, and it's not fair on the poor child. Oyedepo's jet can't leave private airstrip without clearance, says Minister Keyamo. And top corner, the Punch newspaper this morning, upgrade. Discos may move 3 trillion or 3 million. Oh, wow, why am I going up? Something is up this week. More money for me. All right. Discos may move 3 million subscribers to estimated billing.
That's all.
And, you know, the promise was we are going to move people from estimated billing to, you know, metered billing and all of that.
Metered.
So why is this considered an upgrade?
We might-
I really want to know.
I need to get the detail.
Why is it considered an upgrade? Because we are supposed to be moving forward, not
Not the
retrogressing.
other way around.
Discos will move 3 million subscribers to estimated billing. Presidency tackles Kuka for tagging Tinubu accidental leader. Of course, they will do the job they've been employed to do, and that's to defend, protect, you know, the presidency. But Kuka, you know, Bishop Kuka is always a talker, and he doesn't fear whose ox is God. He would always say what he has to say. And, you know, in that particular statement, it was not only Tinubu that said was an accidental leader. He made mention of past administrators too, and called them they were not ready, and said we're not ready to be presidents. They just wanted that title. They just wanted the office, and they were not responsible for the responsibilities attached to that office. And interest rate hike likely again as MPC meets today. It seems for every MPC meeting, people should look forward to
Upward review.
a raise in the interest rate, because this is getting alarming for me. I do not know what Mr. Cardoso is doing for me. I have no idea. I have spoken to economists to help me understand, you know, what Mr. Cardoso is saying that probably I'm not saying. I'm not an economist, so but they too seem not to understand what Mr. Cardoso is saying. They don't know what the bigger picture he has in mind, because they say the continual increase of the interest rate will not do the economy any good. But he thinks, or he knows, or he probably believes that a hike in interest rate from time to time will help stabilize inflation. But over this few months, you know, 1 year, more than 1 year now, we really have not seen that drop in inflation rate. Inflation rate is about 33% as of October 2024, and people are asking, what is Mr. Cardoso doing? And I join my voice to ask too, what is Mr. Cardoso? Mr. Cardoso, what are you doing? Help us understand what you're doing. Lastly, from the Punch newspaper this morning, Tinubu may present budget this week. This is according to the Senate. That will be all from the Punch newspaper this morning.
And of course, that will be it this morning, because we have quite a long way to go. And it's about the rule of law. It's about doing things rightly. It's about what is coming from our court. It's about power tussle. And it's about the people. Actually, the government of the people, for the people, by the people. Better still, the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Is that what it is right now? You know, you don't want to miss any part of today's program. I saw it earlier. Is a bumper one. Stay with us. It's Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Good evening. Oh no.
Badamasi Adegoke Adelabu was a prominent figure in Iba politics and Western region before Nigeria's independence. He was a key founder of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, a political party that held lofty the torch of liberty for the two West African countries. He carved a niche for himself as a wordsmith and a creative speaker. The nickname Kwenkele was a natively corrupted version of Peculiar Mess, his bombastic English language style, often used to score proceedings at the parliament. The author of Africa in Ebullition, a handbook of freedom for Nigerian nationalists, was Nigeria's Federal Minister of Natural Resources and Social Services between 1955 and 1956. He died in an auto crash on the 25th March 1958 at the age of 42. Western Spring Television identifies Adegoke Adelabu as a watershed character in history.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stuff to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girls got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be showing on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Up to 75% of all new human diseases come from animals. Ebola, anthrax, and monkeypox all came from animals. And as more dead wild animals are being transported to our cities, we risk introducing another disease outbreak. This will affect our health, economy, and well-being. So say no to illegal bushmeat, because protecting nature protects us all.
Can you imagine the feeling when you get your news as a break with facts and clarity? Our news are reported as it is
in Africa, and all those who masterminded the way it happened will have to pay a price.
Enjoy Western programs, projecting culture and tradition to the world. Brought to you as the read and recapped every hour for your update.
Fellow Nigeria, how to improve your welfare is of paramount importance to me.
Produced and brought to you in a unique way never before seen.
Western Spring
And Western Spring Television. Television is coming home in your color and culture.
All right, thank you for staying with us. And this morning we have packed our bags already. We are airborne and we are heading straight to the treasure base of the nation, Rivers State, and it is about the rule of law. About the people, about what is coming from our courts, and the judiciary in focus, the executive as well. What many persons have called power tussle, especially what looks like using the instrument of the state, to pursue some personal aggrandizement. Some other persons will say it's not about that. It's just about the rule of law. We have a nation, we have a state to run, and regardless of whatever the feelings are, the law is the law, the rule is the rule. But some persons are looking beyond that to say maybe there is more than meets the eye. And it's about, in the series of events that has happened in the treasure base of the nation, especially the camp of the incumbent governor, Sasin Fubara, and his predecessor, that he used to call his Oga, that's the former River State governor and the minister of FCT, by Ezenwo Nyesom Wike. This time, it went to the court, and you know what the court said a few days ago, and it was reported widely on almost every newspaper in Nigeria. And the office of the Accountant General, at some point was said to have stopped, the Rivers State allocation due to a court order. And these are the issues as well. And the office, let me say, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation has halted payment. This was days ago, by the way, of federal payment of federal allocations to Rivers State government in compliance with a court judgment, just as the Court of Appeal in Abuja had their appeal challenging the verdict on Friday. The three-member panel of the Court of Appeal, led by Hama Barka, on Friday reserved judgment on the state government's appeal against the lower court's decision, stopping the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, from releasing the South-South State monthly allocation. The River State Governor, Sim Fubara, and the state government have filed the appeal to challenge the 30 October judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja. In the now disputed verdict, the Federal High Court Judge Joyce Abdul Malik described the disbursement of monthly allocations to the state since January as a clear constitutional breach that must not be tolerated. The judge subsequently barred the CBN, the Accountant General of the Federation, the State Bank, Zenith, and Access from allowing the state government to access funds from the Consolidated Revenue and Federation accounts. Governor Fubara and River State are promptly appealed against the decision, and other appellants are the Accountant General of River State and Zenith Bank PLC. This is context. There was a court order saying whatever has been paid to River State from January, it's not right. It's a breach of the Constitution. And so River State appeal will understand there is, an update on this matter, another development from both ends as well. This morning we have been joined by Rivers men, in different capacities, an aide of the governor, especially on new media, who is not a stranger to this program again. Honorable Bernard Odike joins us from Rivers this morning. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, Mr. Femi.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. And of course, he's flanked virtually by, Pan-Africanist and a lawyer, somebody who speaks up on what he believes should be the right way of doing things. And of course, a friend of the program as well, Barrister Chetam Nwala, is here with us virtually. Good morning, Barrister. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me once again on your program.
All right. Thank you very much. And okay, let me start with Honorable Odike. You are the one in power now. Your principal, he is Sir Sim Fubara. What do you make of this judgment? I said it earlier. There have been developments on, the 30th of October, judgment of the court. But all of this playing out, the government of River State, what do they think it is? You assist the government on the new media, in the conversation at the government house, at the cabinet meetings, the position of River State, starting for that court judgment, the first one. What do you think is happening? Is it just the rule of law, or you think there is more than meets the eye? Honorable Odike, that's for you.
First of all, we just know, I'm with you here.
Yes,
first of all, the issue, we know what the issue is, the foundation of the whole problem. Issue of somebody coming up to say that somebody is trying to take his structure, and then everything. That's what's bringing us to where we are. And unless ordinarily we wouldn't be where we are. So it's a case of a struggle for, control of the resources of the state. By right, the governor or the government of the state should not be hindered from, assessing and having whatever that is due the state for the day-to-day running of the state and other, projects of governance. But today we have a case where somebody would go to the courts, asking the court to stop or withhold the allocation due the state and every other fund that should be available to the state for the running of the government and for the running of, the activities of the state. So that's where we are. But meanwhile, you're talking about the rule of law. You've rightly refreshed our memories, with regards to the court case that was given, the ruling or whatever that was given on 30th of October and the subsequent appeal by the state government, and how the court has reserved the judgment. We hope and believe that, just like we know, it is very, very illegal and wrong for a federal high court to meddle into, such a matter. For instance, issue of a state law should be dealt with at the state high court and not the federal high court. So I think, first of all, the federal high court lacks jurisdiction to interfere in such a matter. So I believe that the Court of Appeal should be able to sit up to the occasion and rise up to the occasion and then do justice as we expect. I don't know if I've answered your question.
All right. Let me just hang in there, please. Let me go to a barrister. We'll now come back to you. Barrister, okay, maybe in view, Barrister Nwala here, on 30th of October, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Justice Abdul Malik highlighted as in January, Rivers State has received and spent allocations based on, his words, illegitimate budget, describing it as constitutional aberration. And that, suit was filed by Martin Amaule, leaders of assembly, to say the budget that was passed initially was done by just 4 persons that are loyal. They call it a sixth House of Assembly as well, to Governor Fubara to say it's illegal. It can't happen. So and according to the law, you can't spend out of budget. Whatever has been passed, the House of Assembly is illegal, and it was on that ground that Martin Amaule, and his ilks went to court, and Justice Abdul Malik agreed with them to say, we are going to stop this. This is not normal. You are the lawyer here. Can you please walk through that to say Martin Amaule is right? They have the numbers as well. Now, 4 members of assembly passed the budget. So where does that happen? So let's take it from the beginning. How right is this? Ab initio.
Well, once again, I want to thank you for having me on the show. This particular angle which you're coming from this morning, we have been over on several occasions about the rightness and the wrongness. But it now becomes more difficult to talk about because it's, of course, it's currently a serious matter, subject of court decision currently at the Supreme Court. So I wouldn't want to go about whether the rightness or the wrongness of the said matter in court already. However, the aspect I want us to understand is that if you look at both the arguments of Martin Amaule, and you look at the arguments of those on the same angle, and you look at the fact that you would agree with each of them that they seem to be right with the argument because the argument is reasonable in circumstance until the court makes a pronouncement. The reason is because this particular angle of the law is a novel angle of the law. It has not been litigated upon before now, and it has not been tried before now, and this is the first time we're having it being in court. So it is what the Supreme Court decides in this particular matter that makes it a locus classico in the sense in which this is actually being decided upon as to the legitimacy or legality of 4 persons or 3 persons currently at the House of Assembly passing a budget and such a budget having effect. But we should also not forget that within the set time when that budget was passed, that's the argument I've always held, there was a court order that actually had legitimized the leadership of the said house, then as led by Edison Ewie. So it was on the strength of that, those acts were actually carried out. And whether a subsequent court later on gets to call those actions to be wrong, until the time that said court order was on, that those actions were legitimate. Those actions were legitimate. But you know, the Jomoto short judgment has also been confirmed by the Court of Appeal, quashed that whole thing. But you can as well agree with me that even as much as it has quashed the exercise that was carried out, the appellant, who is now the governor at this point, has the right to appeal to the Supreme Court, which they have also exercised. And it is now for the Supreme Court to make its decision. But before the Supreme Court makes its decision, we cannot either sit in our home to say this one is right or this one is wrong. We are only just going to be preempting the Supreme Court, which is not the right thing to do in the circumstance. So, truth be told, as of today, I would always advise that we wait and see the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment, which naturally, the Supreme Court judgment, I fear I would not want to also give a verdict to on the first of the month. We should wait for the Supreme Court judgment and rely on whatever the Supreme Court says in the circumstance, and then we can now pick it up from there.
All right. Really?
Okay, I'll move over to Honorable Odike. Now, there were reports 2 days ago that the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation would not release funds to Rivers State. You know, that's in compliance to the court judgment that barred the CBN from releasing funds to the Rivers State. You know, the FAC allocation, disbursement to federal, states, and local governments in October. Now, that report came in and it actually stirred controversy before we got another report yesterday that the federal government would actually disperse the funds to Rivers State. When the very first report came out, what was it like for you? What was going through your mind when you thought or when you realized that Rivers State may not be getting the allocation for the month?
Well, the answer to that question is that, just like I said earlier on, you know, the part of it is that the 4-man assembly or 3-man assembly have been carrying on legitimately or whatever they've been carrying on, because we know where we're coming from, you know, and then the past budget that the state government had been using to run the state. And then if anybody feels that those budgets or the budget passed, that it's being used illegally or whatever, or that whatever the bill or the law, that the law is illegal, I think that's a state law. The right place to challenge it would have been the state high court. So even when we heard that there was such a judgment, you know, barring the state from accessing his money, or from, barring the central bank, the accountant general of the federation, and the rest of them from releasing funds to the states, we were all believing that such declaration may not stand or may not be the case, because even at that level, you know, there should be legal, some kind of legal advice to the appropriate authorities. And later, to truth to our thinking, or truth to my own thinking, you know, we also heard that the federal government had said that they won't withhold the Rivers State allocation. So that's where we are.
Okay, I'd like to know if that particular, judgment or the order was complied with. I mean, Rivers State does not get its allocation for months. Do you think Rivers State can stand on its own, like continue with the business of the day without the federal allocation? I'd like to know, because I want to know how dependent is Rivers State, to the FAC allocation.
Two things. I am an aide to the governor. You know, after that first judgment of the Federal High Court, I think Joy Abdul Malik, the governor openly declared that the state will not be granted. In fact, he declared even the following day he was going to pay contractors, and he has been running the state. So I would queue behind the statement of my boss, to say that the state is orbit, and whatever the distractions are, it will not be enough to ground River State. We have come to a point where, yes, fine, there's a place of rule of law, but there's also a place of public interest. And we know where we're coming from. All the things just as a result of one man having inordinate ambition to control everything and everybody. Else wouldn't be here. Like Barrister Cheta said, talking about the legitimacy of the four-man or three-man assembly. If not for like today, we heard them say that the defection they did, the videos and everything that are coming up and all the rest, that they were concocted. And you begin to wonder, what kind of people are these? People who claim to be honorable, now denying acts that they put up. Martin Amaewhule, before the House of Assembly, read their defection letters, and they even went ahead to the court to defend the reasons with an affidavit of why they defected. And the same people turned around to deny that they didn't defect. My God. It's an aberration. If not that they did what they did, for instance, they were members of PDP and wrongly defected, and the constitution was clear that having defected that way, that they should vacate, they should lose their seats. And having lost their seats, the remaining members of the House went ahead because the House cannot be granted because some majority members of the House willingly, left the House, maybe to grant the government of the state. They willingly left the House. So assuming, that they actually, just left, decided not to come back to begin to drag. So the state should be granted because a set number of men and women decided to leave the assembly. Therefore, the state should be granted. Like I have seen from the Constitution too, that when people talk about the minimum, the minimum number of persons that is expected to be in to form whatever the House of Assembly, I think that law, to my understanding, should just be based on for instance, Bayelsa State has only eight local government area. And then, for them to be able to have a House of Assembly, they have more than about 24